Yeah, go ahead.
President, you said no vaccine or no vaccine, we're back. What did you mean by that?
We think we're going to have a vaccine in the pretty near future, and if we do, we're going to really be a big step ahead, and if we don't, we're going to be like so many other cases where you had a problem come in, it'll go away at some point, it'll go away. It may flare up and it may not flare up. We'll have to see what happens, but if it does flare up, we're going to put out the fire, and we'll put it out quickly and efficiently. We've learned a lot. Steve, do you have a question?
We've heard that the vaccine typically would take 12 to 18 months to develop. How can you do it in a speedier fashion? What makes you think this will work?
Well, they started actually, I guess you heard in January, early January, and they've been working on it. I know so many, and private companies have been working on it. The government's been working on it. So we've got the time because we put and they've literally been working 24 hours a day. So we've got the time, and we hope to be able to do something by the end of the year or shortly thereafter. But again, you know, it's not solely vaccine-based. Other things have never had a vaccine, and they go away. So I don't want people to think that this is all dependent on vaccine, but a vaccine would be a tremendous thing. And I will tell you, therapeutically or therapeutics, what's going on there is equally as impressive. We have some things happening. You know, we have the remdesivir from Gilead. We have other things that are very good. I think that a lot is happening therapeutically. I can't say that it's, relatively speaking, equal to what's going on with vaccines, but I think it's doing very well, very well. So therapeutics are a big factor. Yeah, please.
Is there a global competition to develop this vaccine? Like if France develops it first, will they share it with us?
Yeah, and we have that very well worked out. Whoever gets it is going to be very proud to give it and develop it. They've developed it, and we'll see what happens. We've got countries that are allies we have some countries, frankly, that aren't allies where we're working very closely together. So we're working together with many different countries. And again, we have no ego. We have no ego. Whoever gets it, we think it's great. We're going to work with them. They're going to work with us. Likewise, if we get it, we're going to be working with them. So it's very important. It's a very good question, actually. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, what do you say to those business owners and other people who are really questioning the guidance that the CDC put out last night? There was a concern that it would be overly prescriptive. Now there's a concern it's not prescriptive enough. What are business owners to do?
Well, I thought the guidance was very good. I've heard very good reviews on the guidance, and you know, the media will never be satisfied. If we gave you more description, that would be no good. If we gave you less, that would be no good. But I thought it was very good, and I've heard a lot of good things. Go ahead, please, Green.
Do you have a problem or any concerns? Do you have any concerns about the Abbott test, given some of the new numbers that have come out?
No, Abbott's a great test. It's a very quick test, and it can always be very rapidly double-checked. If you're testing positive or negative, it can always be double-checked. But it's a very good test, very portable, very quick. Okay.
And then what happens if China is the country that develops the vaccine? What happens if it's China? Will the U.S. still have access to that vaccine?
I would say the answer to that would be yes. I would say the answer would be yes. Yes, go ahead, please.
Do you mean a fully approved vaccine for everyone?
Excuse me, you're going to have to remove it. You can't hear through your...
Do you mean a fully approved vaccine for the entire general public or a partially approved vaccine for emergency use?
What did she say?
Fully approved vaccine or not? Or just
Near the mic.
You want me to?
Sorry, let me repeat that. Now I'm closer to the mic. Do you mean a fully approved vaccine for everyone, the full public, or a partially approved vaccine with emergency use?
No, we're looking for a full vaccine for everyone that wants to get it. Not everybody's going to want to get it. But we're looking at a full vaccine. Is that a correct statement?
Yeah, we'll.
Please.
So the answer is yes. We're working for a fully approved vaccine, but we'll also use the tools we have, for instance, emergency use authorization as appropriate. We use all of our regulatory tools to bring vaccine available for the entire American population by January.
Okay, and then Mr. President, could you just clarify, why are some of you wearing a mask and why are some of you not wearing a mask?
We've all been tested. I've been tested. We've all been tested, and we're quite a distance away, and we're outdoors. So I gave them the option. They could wear it or not. So you can blame it on me, but I gave them the option. We could wear it or not. Yeah, please.
Available to the rest. would a US vaccine be available to the rest of the world at an affordable rate, at a low cost?
The last thing anybody's looking for is profit in terms of what we're doing. Every company, they want to get it out. We've had that. We've had a great experience on Remdesivir. We've had a great experience on everything we've done. People are looking to come up with the answer. They're not looking in, typically they're saying, oh, how much am I going to make? How much? They really have been. There's been a great spirit on this. They want to get to the bottom of it, and I think we'll be able to do that.
Mr. President, the Indian American community is appreciating your help in fighting the coronavirus. What is your message to those 4 million Indian Americans here?
So India has been so great, and as you know, your Prime Minister has been a very good friend of mine. I just got back a short while ago from India recently, and we're working very much with India too, and we have a tremendous Indian population in the United States, and many of the people that you're talking about are working on the vaccine too. Great scientists and researchers, yeah. We're working very closely also with India, correct. And say hello to your Prime Minister. Yeah, please, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. What steps, if any, is your administration taking to ensure that the communities and the states that are hardest hit will have first access to the vaccine? Have these discussions been had, or are there any plans?
Yeah, I think we've done a good job with that. Certain areas have been hit very hard, New York, New Jersey, et cetera, working very closely with the governors. We've worked with all of the governors. We've made a lot of people look very good with what we've done on ventilators, with what we've done on testing. We're working with all of the governors. We just sent a big transit package to New Jersey. I just spoke to the governor of New Jersey, who's a terrific person, by the way, I have to tell you, and I just told him a lot of money's coming your way for the transit. And also I spoke with the governor of New York, Governor Cuomo. We just had a conversation yesterday. We're sending them a lot of transportation money, so it's important. But we've had a very good relationship working with all of the states, regardless, all of the states. And if we do get fortunate enough, and I think we're skilled enough, but fortunate enough to have a vaccine, it'll get out fairly and quickly.
Do you foresee that states that are hardest hit will have first dibs? So will like New York and New Jersey have...
I think that makes sense, perhaps. Perhaps it does, but, I would say probably, but I think they're all going to get well distributed. If you remember when we started, we had no ventilators. We had to make them, and we became a very major manufacturer of ventilators. Now we're helping countries all over the world with ventilators. We're sending them to many countries all over the world. When we started, we didn't have ventilators. I inherited nothing. I inherited practically nothing from the previous administration, unfortunately. Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. President, it's been 3 months since you signed the China trade deal. Between what's happened with coronavirus and the lagging agricultural purchases, are you at any point considering reimposing additional tariffs on China or tearing up the deal in any other way?
Well, I don't want to talk about it. I can say China is buying a lot of our product. But the trade deal, the ink was barely dry when this came in from China. So it's not like we're thrilled. Okay, go ahead, please.
Mr. President, can I ask one more?
Yeah.
I'm wondering if you're standing by the nomination of Michael Pack to lead Voice of America after news that the D.C. Attorney General is...
Well, I don't know what happened. I know that Voice of America is run in a terrible manner, terrible. They're not the Voice of America. They're the opposite of the Voice of America. And we have a man who is very good. I don't know, he's in the nominating process, but I'll have to check that out. Yeah, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. If public confidence is the main thing of getting people back to work and back to schools and so on, is this even possible without a vaccine? How would it be possible without a vaccine? Public confidence.
Well, I think a very big factor, frankly, is that very few people are, we read about all of the very sad, very tragic. I've lost friends. Many of us have lost friends. We read about that and we see that, and that's what the news covers. But that's a very small percentage. It's a very, very small percentage. I say it all the time. It's a tiny percentage. The vast majority, many people don't even know they have it. They have it, or they have sniffles, or they have a very minor sign, and they recover. Not only recover, they probably have immunity, whether it's short-term, long-term, but they have probably immunity. And I think people have to understand that. That's why I think the schools should be back in the fall. I think that lots of things should happen. I don't think that you should have 70-year-old teachers back yet. They should wait till everything is gone. I don't think you should have a professor that's 65 and has diabetes or has a bad heart back necessarily, or somebody that's older than that. But we want to see our schools back. We want to see our country start to work again. We created the greatest economy in the history of the world, and we're going to do it again. And you're going to see that next year, and it's going to start. You'll start to see it in the fourth quarter, maybe even before that. Yeah.
President, are you at all concerned about children or teachers who are in the school bringing it home to their families, to their spouses?
I'm concerned about everything, and I'm also concerned about our country. Our country has to get back. And you know, what you're talking is when you are doing what we did with the shutdown, that causes death also. It causes massive depression. It causes drugs. It causes suicide. It causes a lot of problems also. No, our country has to get back to work again. And you see that just looking and reading everything that's happening. Our people want to get back. They want to get back.
Sir, do you have a plan to prevent the spread if you reopen
We
the
do.
schools?
We do. We have a great plan to prevent the spread, but that doesn't mean we're going to close our country for 5 years, okay? Not going to happen.
In the schools,
Go
you have
ahead.
a plan?
The current death toll is about 86,000.
At current, it's about 86,000, yes.
Do you think that's accurate, or do you think it's higher than that?
I don't, or lower than that. I don't know. I don't know. Those are the numbers that are being reported. I assume they're correct. Unlike other countries, I mean, you have some countries, obviously, you have some that are very obviously ridiculous, but our numbers are accurate numbers. We don't do anything with the numbers one way or the other. Whatever it is, that's what we do. We take the numbers as reported.
Do you have any indication that they could be lower than that?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. If they were, I'd be very happy if they were lower. I'd like to see numbers lower. I'd like to see no death at all. One death is too many. This should have never happened. This came from China. It should have been stopped in China before it got out to the world. We have 186, it's been updated this morning. 186 countries are affected. And each country that's affected is the same thing. Russia now is badly affected. France is badly affected. You look at what each country, and you can say affected or you can say infected. Either way you want to put it. But you look at these countries, look at Italy, and you look at Spain, and you look at all of these great countries in many cases, how they've had to fight through this. It's a terrible thing that happened. It could have been stopped at the source. It should have been stopped right at the source, but it wasn't. Thank you all very much. We appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.